Dear colleagues, the next item on our agenda is the report by the committee to the General Assembly on its activities. Mr. Curtis, please give us some information.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. With your permission, I'd like to ask my colleague, Ms. Fumiko Ohinata, to explain this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. As the committee, you are to submit a report of your activities to the General Assembly at each of its sessions, and this so in accordance with Article 30 of the Convention. So this means that this report under examination will be submitted to the General Assembly at its 8th session in June 2020. This report is also to be brought to the attention of the next session of the General Conference of UNESCO that will be held in 2021. Dear members of the committee, the report currently published online needs to be updated with two types of information. First of all, decision that you, the committee, or your bureau will be undertaking during this session of the committee, and secondly, developments that may take place under this convention between now and the end of the year. Of course, it is unlikely because we are already in December, but nevertheless. The Secretariat proposes that this item be suspended and taken up again at the end of the session on the last day, after all the other items that require your decision will have been examined. In this way, the Secretariat can update your report based on the debates and decisions taken during this session, and in turn, the committee will be able to adopt an accurate report with a view to presenting it to the General Assembly. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Fumiko. Indeed, I see that the working document 5A for this item contains many sections that are left highlighted because the information will have to be inserted or updated depending on the decisions that we will be making during this session. I do think that it's necessary to suspend this item, and we will revisit it at the end of the session on Saturday, 14 December. I will work with the Bureau of the committee tomorrow morning to update the timetable for the session to reflect this situation. May I assume that everybody is in agreement with this proposal? Thank you very much. I therefore suspend item 5A for the time being, and we will come back to it on Saturday. Bon, nous allons à présent examiner le point 5B, le rapport du secrétariat sur ses activités. Tout le monde reconnaît que le secrétariat joue un rôle essentiel pour la Convention et j'ai hâte d'entendre Mr. Curtis nous présenter les activités menées. Monsieur Curtis, je vous laisse la parole.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Dear members of the committee, dear observer states, parties to the Convention, non-governmental organizations accredited to the Convention, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to share with you the activities of the Secretariat during the 18-month period from January 2018 to June 2019. As you can see from the document, the Secretariat has advanced in many areas that are indeed important for the life of the Convention. This morning, I won't be repeating all of the details available in the report, but rather I'd like to highlight some of the key issues we have worked on, as well as provide some updates in areas that have advanced since last June, which is the end of the official reporting period. I would like to start with a key achievement for the reporting period following the adoption of the overall results framework for the Convention at the 7th session of the General Assembly in 2018. The framework, as you know, is certainly forward-looking and unprecedented for an international instrument such as the 2003 Convention. As you will hear later under Item 8, the Secretariat worked to incorporate the indicators of the overall results framework into a new periodic reporting form. This, I can tell you, has been an ambitious undertaking, which I'm pleased to say we were able to achieve in time for the launch of the new regional cycles next year. The importance of this new way of monitoring the implementation of the Convention should not be underestimated. You may recall that they were designed to address issues, that these indicators were designed to address issues at the local, national, and international level. And in the new form, we've also been able to include the commitments of states for the Sustainable Development Goals. I can also report that we've been working hard to develop a specifically designed capacity-building approach on periodic reporting, which is ready to start in early 2020 in Latin America and the Caribbean as the first region for the new cycle of periodic reporting. For the first region for the new reporting cycles, sorry. By merging the indicators of the overall results framework with periodic reporting, we should be able to have greater understanding and therefore give greater visibility to what is surely the most significant achievement of the Convention. That is the fact that 15 years ago, only a handful of states had policies, programs, and institutions dedicated to the safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage, whereas today, most of the 178 states parties to the Convention have established them in some form or another. Indeed, whilst the international listing mechanisms have really achieved a lot in raising awareness of the importance of living heritage, it cannot be denied that the real nitty-gritty business of safeguarding living heritage occurs at the community, local, and country level. I have no doubt that the Convention has had a major impact globally in this regard, and it is our hope that this new reporting systems will be able to tell that story more forcefully. Ladies and gentlemen, as has been the case in past years, on the one hand, the Secretariat has been ensuring the work to support the statutory side of the Convention, assisting the governing bodies in their work and implementing their decisions, while at the same time we've been making efforts to operationalize key thematic areas that contribute to safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. The first thematic area I would like to make a special mention of is our work on safeguarding intangible cultural heritage in formal and non-formal education. For this, our focus has been on strengthening transmission, a key safeguarding measure mentioned in Article 2 of the Convention. Following the approval of the priority on intangible cultural heritage in education in 2017, we integrated this new thematic into the 39C5, the planning tool of UNESCO-wide. We were surprised by the immediate enthusiasm coming from field officers, with 15 officers across all regions undertaking related activities during the biennium. Another pleasant surprise was the strong interest and cooperation from our colleagues in the education sector. In October of this year, we held our second intersectoral meeting, bringing together more than 50 colleagues from both sectors. Together, we were able to find concrete areas where our work naturally converged: teacher development, global citizenship education, education for sustainable development, as well as technical and vocational education and training. It is truly becoming a joint initiative, and one that provides a clear contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals through SDG 4 in particular. It is also very pleasing to inform you that our global capacity building program continues to move forward. The reporting period saw the overall number of countries having benefited from the program reach 92, as well as a continued expansion of the facilitators network through three training of trainers workshops in cooperation with Category 2 centers for the regions of Central Asia, Asia and the Pacific, and Europe. Moreover, since June of this year, so outside of the reporting period, we've been able to hold 2 more regional trainings of facilitators, one for Africa and one for the Arab states, for a total of 56 new facilitators trained in 2 years. Beyond the continued workshops, training workshops, the network of facilitators has continued to develop through the establishment of an interregional working group. And as an extension of our work on capacity building, we have also continued networking with universities to foster more postgraduate degrees and encourage more training for professionals in the field of intangible cultural heritage safeguarding. We established contact with 66 further universities during the reporting period. And finally, as has been mentioned, nearly a decade since its inception, the time has come to reflect on how to sustain the capacity building program going forward. For this purpose, we commissioned a feasibility study that outlined possibilities for future partnerships. The Secretariat has also been taking significant steps towards addressing current global challenges through our work on intangible cultural heritage in emergencies. The past 3 years has culminated in the elaboration of operational principles and modalities for safeguarding intangible cultural heritage in emergencies. The plan now is for both conflicts and natural disasters to shift towards operational activities, interinstitutional cooperation, capacity building, and awareness raising. We will be discussing this in much more detail under item 13. And we are also starting to see the fruits of our work over the last couple of years in the area of communication and outreach. We have developed key messages and targeted new audiences such as youth and indigenous peoples. Some evidence of this can be seen at our present committee session with 15 side events, of which 7 are organized by UNESCO. And this is the most we've ever experienced in a committee. I encourage you all to take advantage of these events over the next few days and witness firsthand how our focus on communication and outreach can make the work of the convention meaningful to all stakeholders. Dear committee members, I would also like to draw your attention to the present financial situation, as there have been some interesting developments that merit reflection. The Secretariat has made significant efforts to better operationalize the international assistance mechanism, which I am happy to report has started to get the fund closer to being fully operational. This is especially good news because it means that states have been able to undertake more projects than ever to safeguard intangible cultural heritage, and this will be developed further under item 6 later today. As a related update, we would like to extend our thanks to the committee for reinforcing the human resources of the Secretariat. The recruitment process has been completed and the new safeguarding and implementation team has been established. More than ever, they will make it possible to ensure that the international assistance mechanism is indeed reaching its potential through continued high implementation and ongoing monitoring, contributing to the overall effectiveness of states' safeguarding efforts. Nevertheless, despite this good news, the situation with our 2 funding priorities has not been so encouraging. During the reporting period, we received no voluntary contributions for either priority. However, since publishing the Secretariat's report, we have received a number of voluntary contributions. We are hopeful that these contributions represent a positive trend that will continue over the coming years. Indeed, we will certainly need continued support to reinforcing and expanding our work. Tracing back over the last 4 years, there have been many important developments in the life of the Convention, which I have conveyed in my report today. We have reformed the periodic reporting mechanisms to improve reporting through regional cycles. We have increased the implementation of international assistance from the Intangible Cultural Heritage Fund so that more communities than ever are benefiting from these projects. And our new team will soon be monitoring and gathering lessons learned to further improve this mechanism. Building on our progress, it is now time for us, and here I mean all of us who are stakeholders in the Convention, to shift our attention to reflect on the listing mechanisms. As part of this, we have taken a first step to make the inscription process better respond to the needs of states parties through the upstream dialogue process for the 2019 cycle, and the year has been a test to see if the dialogue process works. We will continue the reflection next year with a preliminary meeting of experts in March 2020 at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. We will make this process step by step to see how we can improve the listing mechanisms, and we will be reviewing all of this together over the coming 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I've presented in a broad manner some of the important issues we've been working over the last 18 months, but I would like to beg for your indulgence to also have the opportunity to end my presentation by offering a series of quick highlights of the many other achievements we have accomplished. During the reporting period, we organized 16 statutory meetings for the General Assembly, the Committee, and the Bureau of the Committee. We administered 35 requests for international assistance, of which 23 were approved. We launched the initiative Dive into Intangible Cultural Heritage to visualize living heritage elements, reaching almost 1 million web pages over the first semester of 2019. We organized 32 workshops as part of the Global Capacity Building Program. We held an expert meeting on intangible cultural heritage in emergencies, bringing together 21 experts from the 6 UNESCO electoral groups. We received 225 responses to our survey on lighter ways of sharing safeguarding practices. We released an online tool collating more than 30 examples on the links between intangible cultural heritage and sustainable development. We held a virtual conference on intangible cultural heritage and technical and vocational education and training with 302 participants from 83 countries. We conducted the pilot phase of a project on intangible cultural heritage in urban context in 3 cities, Kingston, Jamaica, Georgetown, Malaysia, and Harare, Zimbabwe. We organized a panel discussion at the 18th session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. We launched the Intangible Cultural Heritage Convention research bibliography with more than 1,200 research references, and we produced audio-visual stories of 4 young people talking about their living heritage experiences. With that, Madam Chairperson, I would like to end my presentation. As you might be able to see, we've been very busy, and I would invite you all to read the report for more details on the activities I mentioned now. I welcome any questions you may have. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis, for your detailed report, which gave a very good overview of the activities undertaken by the Secretariat. I am sure that many of you have questions or comments to make. Now I open the floor. Okay. Palestine, please.
Merci encore, Madame la Présidente. Et pardonnez-moi, j'ai omis dans mon intervention précédente de remercier la Colombie pour leur accueil de qualité. Et on se sent, comme l'a dit notre collègue, on se sent à la maison. Franchement, tout était parfait. Merci beaucoup à la Colombie. Donc, ceci étant dit, le rapport du secrétariat est tout à fait très riche. Et comme vous l'avez mentionné, le secrétariat joue un rôle vraiment essentiel. Si on regarde bien dans le rapport, on voit que le secrétariat n'a pas chômé, loin de là. Well, I would like first to thank them for the new system of the periodic reporting. It was an excellent idea, and we are looking forward for its implementation. And I would like to thank the Secretariat specifically for the capacity building workshops that they organized a little bit everywhere, but Palestine was also concerned by this workshop, and it was something very valuable for us, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you so much, the Secretariat, and we would like at this occasion also to thank the UNESCO Ramallah office, who played also an important role in this regard. Nevertheless, there are so many activities that has been conducted, and we appreciate it really sincerely. I think that the Secretariat is doing a huge work. The dialogue process that we implemented only at this cycle, and that will come back in a different way without the 2 options, it was a pilot phase, and it was a success, a real success. And we, as members of the committee, we will try to respect as much as possible the recommendations at this session of the evaluation body, knowing that, as usual, the evaluation body looks only in the dossier and not beyond it. But we will talk about this a little bit later. Another thing that we appreciate so much also, the Secretariat takes care of the relations with the NGOs, and they encourage their participation, and we know the efforts that they are giving towards the NGOs, and we all know that they have an important role also, these NGOs, on the ground. And finally, the role of education that has been mentioned by the Secretariat in the report also. We are concerned by these activities, and it has been mentioned that the UNESCO offices, regional offices, and other offices are implementing such activities, and Palestine was also involved and concerned by these activities. So just to resume, there are so many things that the Secretariat did, and we appreciate it. They are overloaded, but they do it fantastically. Ils font face sans problème à tout cela, et pour cela, je souhaite les remercier vivement. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Palestine. Now I'll give the floor to Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you very much, Madam President. First of all, our sincere congratulations for assuming the post of the presidency of this committee. Also, we would like to congratulate the government of Colombia for successfully hosting the first ever session of the ICH in your region. It is indeed a great success. And of course, the warm hospitality that you extended to all of us. When it comes to the report of the Secretariat, of course, we are very thankful for the very detailed report. We welcome the progress achieved by the Secretariat since the last session of the committee in such areas as the periodic reporting reform, capacity building, intangible heritage and education, intangible heritage and emergencies, and the reflection of the role of the NGOs as well as the knowledge management. All these issues were raised by the Secretary of the Convention. My delegation takes note of the establishment of the safeguarding, implementation, and monitoring team within the living heritage entity, following the decision of the GA back in 2018 on the creation of the 3 extra budgetary posts. So we are really happy with this decision, and encouraging higher expenditure on international assistance from the ICH funds, which surpassed 40 million during the current biennium. We hope further actions will be pursued by the cultural sector to reinforce the staff, knowing that the workload continues to increase. My delegation notes with appreciation the progress achieved in developing the knowledge management of the Convention, particularly the new navigation system dive into intangible heritage, cultural heritage, and the Convention bibliography tool, which will be instrumental in accompanying the efforts of public institutions, communities, and researchers to enhance capacities, raise awareness, and strengthen the implementation of the Convention at the country and regional levels. In terms of the capacity building, my delegation commends the Secretariat for the efforts and support the countries worldwide which help advancing the implementation of the Convention and bringing its provisions and mechanisms to the national context. We particularly note the importance of the implementation of this program in Africa and small island developing states, especially in the context of ICH in conflicts and natural disasters, as these regions are mostly affected by conflicts and natural disasters. For this cycle, we have 6 nominations from these regions, and the majority of the nominations received a negative evaluation by the evaluation body, which indeed necessitates the Secretariat's efforts to increase the capacity building in these regions. We also appreciate the progress attained by the Secretariat on the new funding priority on intangible heritage and education. This is something that was also mentioned by the Secretary of the Convention. And there is indeed the collaboration with the educational sector, which we really welcome. But we note that there is absence of voluntary supplementary contribution to the fund on this new program during this current biennium. And this program priority represents indeed an opportunity as we deal with the program of strong intersectoral cooperation. And this is something that in UNESCO we are encouraging to have better intersectoral cooperation. So we would like to ask the Secretariat, we have a question to ask the Secretariat if any efforts are foreseen to make use of the funding mechanisms available at the educational sector program within UNESCO to be channeled to the educational activities within the ICH. So this will help also to bring additional funding from the educational sector. I thank you very much.
Thank you for your intervention in Azerbaiyán. Ahora voy a darle la palabra a Guatemala. Bienvenido, Guatemala.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Aprovecho la oportunidad para agradecer a las autoridades colombianas por acoger la 14ª reunión de este comité y también agradecer por el excelente y cálido y la cálida bienvenida del que hemos beneficiado. Dicho esto, agradecemos a la Secretaría por el informe tan completo y detallado sobre sus actividades desde enero de 2018 hasta junio del presente año y extendemos una sincera felicitación por la ardua y eficaz labor que llevan a cabo coordinando y organizando numerosas actividades en beneficio de la Convención y sus Estados parte, tales como las reuniones coordinadas para la reflexión sobre el rol de las ONGs o la reflexión sobre los mecanismos de inscripción en las listas de la Convención, entre muchas otras. Reconocemos los importantes esfuerzos de la Secretaría para sentar las bases del nuevo mecanismo de diálogo que hemos promovido desde nuestra primera participación como miembros del comité en el 2016. Acogemos con beneplácito que se haya comenzado a implementar este mecanismo, aunque no nos queda claro si todos los estados que propusieron expedientes de nominación para este ciclo y que tuvieron alguna dificultad con algún criterio pudieron beneficiar del mismo. En cualquier caso, consideramos que el mecanismo debe ser reforzado. En cuanto a la reforma del mecanismo de informes periódicos, creemos que el nuevo sistema se adapta mejor a las realidades de cada región y su flexibilidad permitirá, a través del establecimiento de objetivos propios a cada Estado parte, facilitar el ejercicio para informar sobre qué resultados obtienen los países implementando la Convención. En relación a la estrategia de fortalecimiento de capacidades, en 2019, en la ciudad de Antigua, Guatemala, se llevó a cabo el Congreso de Patrimonio Cultural Inmaterial de Guatemala, Formación de Formadores. Esta actividad estuvo organizada por la Dirección Técnica de Patrimonio Inmaterial del Ministerio de Cultura y Deportes de Guatemala, en coordinación con el Centro Regional para la Salvaguardia del Patrimonio Cultural Inmaterial en América Latina. Participaron en esta actividad representantes de los núcleos focales del Crespial como Argentina, Brasil, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Ecuador, El Salvador, Paraguay, Guatemala, Perú y Uruguay. En ese sentido, invitamos a la Secretaría a continuar con estos esfuerzos en coordinación con los centros de categoría 2 relativos a la promoción de la Convención. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Guatemala. Now I'll give the floor to Djibouti, please. The floor is yours.
Gracias, señora Presidente. Voy a aprovechar que España nos ayudó para hablar en español y intentaré hablar un poco en español. Señor Director General encargado de Cultura, señor Secretario de nuestra Convención, permítame ante todo, señora Presidente, expresar nuestro agradecimiento al Gobierno colombiano para la acogida calurosa desde nuestra llegada en esta bella ciudad de Bogotá, su ciudad, una ciudad llena de cultura, de danza, de música y arte y artesanía. Ayer por la tarde hemos podido visitar la artesanía a 100 metros de aquí. Señora Presidenta, como algunas delegaciones lo han dicho, estamos acaso. El único riesgo que nos puede ocurrir es que nos quedemos al final. Nuestra alegría se duplica al ver que sea también la primera vez que esta convención se tiene en un país de América del Sur y que se han escogido que sea Colombia. Es un testigo del papel, es un testimonio del papel que juega Colombia en el tema que les reúne. Mi delegación apoya y da su pleno acuerdo con la manera con la que usted dirija nuestra reunión. Madame la Présidente, je voudrais ici revenir un peu au français et vous remercier la DG Culture qui est avec nous, et à travers lui, notre secrétaire de la Convention, M. Tim Curtis, et le féliciter pour le rapport complet, détaillé et très riche qu'il vient de nous faire sur la période de janvier 2018 à juin 2019. Surtout, nous voulons le remercier et lui dire de continuer sur les questions opérationnelles et le renforcement des capacités par l'éducation, et nous faisons nôtre le projet de décision 14 comme 5B. Je voulais également ajouter que, étant donné que nous venons d'un pays du Sud, nous demandons également à ce qu'il y ait plus d'appui, de soutien aux délégations venant du Sud pour la présentation de l'inscription de leurs questions. Nous voyons à travers la liste qui est proposée aujourd'hui, comme le disait mon collègue de l'Azerbaïdjan tout à l'heure, un certain nombre de déséquilibres. C'est pour cela que nous appuyons le rapport qui vient d'être fait, mais nous demandons également à ce que soit à l'avenir donné beaucoup plus d'importance à ce sujet. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
C'est moi qui vous remercie, Djibouti. Maintenant, je veux donner la parole à Arménie.
Merci, Madame la Présidente, et félicitations pour assurer cette présidence de notre session. La délégation de l'Arménie tient tout d'abord à adresser tous ses remerciements et sa gratitude aux autorités colombiennes pour la chaleur de leur hospitalité et pour les dispositions prises pour accueillir dans les meilleures conditions cette session du comité. J'espère que cette délégation aura la possibilité, durant ce séjour, d'aller visiter la ville d'Arménia et vous pourrez comprendre aisément combien nous pouvons nous sentir chez nous lorsque nous savons qu'il existe une ville qui porte le nom de notre pays. Cette délégation remercie également le Secretariat pour son rapport substantiel sur ses travaux durant la période concernée. Elle se réjouit de constater combien ces activités concourent à une meilleure mise en œuvre des objectifs de la Convention. Elle entend pour sa part réaffirmer son plein engagement en faveur de la protection du patrimoine culturel immatériel et développer dans un esprit constructif une fructueuse coopération dans ce domaine avec les États parties, conscients du fort potentiel que recèle la Convention pour mettre en valeur notre patrimoine commun tout en préservant la diversité culturelle qui en fait sa richesse. La délégation d'Arménie souhaite porter son appréciation sur le travail d'accompagnement effectué par le Secrétariat auprès des organes directeurs et son soutien apporté pour développer la Convention. Des chantiers nouveaux ont été engagés dans cette perspective, des projets importants ont été initiés qui méritent notre appui, qu'il s'agisse de la réflexion en cours sur les mécanismes d'inscription, du nécessaire renforcement des capacités nationales de sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel, ou encore des initiatives telles que le patrimoine culturel immatériel dans les situations d'urgence, dans l'éducation et dans les contextes urbains, et enfin pour rendre plus opérationnels les mécanismes d'assistance internationale. Nous avons également porté une attention particulière sur la mise en œuvre du processus de dialogue en amont qui a été expérimenté et dont nous avons estimé qu'il donnait des résultats positifs, mais nous aurons évidemment l'occasion de revenir sur cette question. Pour clore mon propos, je voudrais dire que cette délégation attache aussi de l'importance à poursuivre la réflexion afin d'améliorer davantage la participation des ONG dans le cadre de la Convention de 2003. Je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Merci, Arménie. Ahora quiero darle la palabra a la delegación de Colombia, por favor.
Gracias, señora presidenta. La felicito por el gran trabajo que ha hecho durante este año el Bureau y le deseo muchos éxitos en la dirección de esta 14ª sesión del comité. Quiero agradecer al Gobierno de España por la traducción que ha hecho, que nos permite sentirnos tan a gusto con nuestro maravilloso idioma. Y quiero también agradecer las manifestaciones de afecto de las distintas delegaciones. Créanme, señores delegados, que es igual ese afecto con el que recibimos, con el que les damos esta grata bienvenida y que esperamos que su estadía en nuestro país sea verdaderamente inolvidable. El reporte que hemos escuchado esta mañana nos muestra que la Convención ha dado importantes pasos en los diferentes escenarios de diálogo, afianzando los procesos de asistencia internacional y cooperación con proyectos concretos que reciben recursos del Fondo del Patrimonio Cultural e Inmaterial. También las estrategias de comunicación más ágiles y visibles que han permitido una mayor conciencia global sobre el patrimonio, sobre el valor del patrimonio cultural inmaterial. En esta reunión, Colombia quiere hacer énfasis en dos aspectos. El primero, poner el foco sobre una mayor presencia de acciones dirigidas a promover la salvaguardia del patrimonio cultural inmaterial desde la educación formal y no formal. Nos referimos a una mayor atención al fomento de la educación terciaria y vocacional como herramienta de salvaguardia de los conocimientos, técnicas y oficios tradicionales que componen el patrimonio cultural inmaterial a nivel mundial. Nosotros hemos avanzado en generar oportunidades de trabajo y mano de obra calificada en oficios tradicionales del patrimonio inmaterial a través de la formación vocacional, ligando la salvaguardia con el desarrollo sostenible. Por ello, celebramos el acercamiento de la entidad de patrimonio vivo con UNESCO UNEVOC para empezar a atender también la relación entre patrimonio cultural inmaterial y educación técnica y vocacional. En este aspecto consideramos fundamental que se tengan en cuenta la construcción de marcos y sistemas de cualificaciones que permitan certificar y reconocer los conocimientos empíricos que detentan los maestros y practicantes del patrimonio cultural inmaterial para generarles mayores oportunidades de empleabilidad. El segundo aspecto es el gran interés que tiene nuestro país en participar en una reflexión global sobre el patrimonio cultural inmaterial en contextos urbanos. Felicitamos a los donantes de la República Popular China por su valiosa contribución. Recomendamos el poder empezar a reflexionar sobre asuntos de política pública en esta temática que integren la visión de la planeación urbana y la construcción de planes de ordenamiento o de planes maestros que incidan en la configuración presente y futura de los territorios urbanos. Si bien los procesos de identificación inicial del patrimonio cultural inmaterial en el espacio urbano son fundamentales, los actores interesados en la salvaguardia debemos trabajar para generar más capacidades metodológicas para incidir en los escenarios de planeación urbana donde se define el futuro de las ciudades. Finalmente, es de anotar que es importante tener en cuenta que en los escenarios urbanos debe fomentarse un diálogo para enriquecer los planes de manejo de los sectores históricos de las ciudades, promoviendo visiones más integrales del patrimonio cultural en la configuración de ciudades con un carácter patrimonial y cultural. De igual forma, los invitamos al side event propuesto por el Ministerio de Cultura de Colombia sobre patrimonio cultural inmaterial en contextos urbanos, en el que presentaremos nuestro enfoque y avances en este sentido. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Colombia. Ahora, I'll give the floor to Netherlands.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation would like to congratulate you with your chairmanship. We are convinced that under your leadership we will have fruitful and interesting discussions. And we would like to thank the government of Colombia for their hospitality and warm welcome. We feel the atmosphere here we know from the Caribbean countries in the Kingdom of the Netherlands, not so far away from here, and we immediately felt at home. We like to congratulate the Secretariat and the staff for the excellent reports and the commitment. We see that the Convention is evolving in a direction with a broad scope in which new thematic areas are becoming more and more important and concrete. Partly, they will be on the agenda of the coming days. And we welcome the efforts of the Secretariat to work in these areas. For instance, ICH in emergencies, and ICH in urban context. These are pressing issues faced by many of the state parties. For ICH communities, it is important that there are physical spaces to practice their ICH, to have an intercultural dialogue and cooperation in our multicultural cities. This was a central theme of the ICH NGO Forum yesterday. Important issues were discussed there, and insights and experiences were shared. Many examples were shared from Colombia, for instance, on urban planning and the community practices and lifestyles, and the development of a toolkit. But there were also examples from Nepal, from India, from Burkina Faso, and from the Netherlands. We welcome the pilot project started to identify and create a better understanding of the key issues of ICH and safeguarding in cities. Another important topic is ICH in formal and non-formal education. When we read the reports on elements on the urgent safeguarding list, for instance, or the nomination files, we see that education in school curricula are key to safeguard and to involve the youth. And we think these kind of subjects to share good practices and good examples in education are key. We not only see the challenges of these new thematic areas, but also the potentials. And we think that it is very necessary to share good examples and good practices, and in this way to broaden the approach to safeguarding and the convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Netherlands. Nous avons encore quelques pays qui veulent intervenir, mais avant ça, je vais lire la liste des pays. C'est Philippines, Austria, Sénégal, Poland, Kazakhstan, Cuba, China, Jamaica, Lebanon, Kuwait. But before we continue, I will give the floor to Mr. Curtis so he can address some of the items on the issues that have been on the floor right now.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. And I thank those states for their interventions and for those who have given us encouraging remarks. It's very important for us to know that the efforts we are making are indeed in line with the efforts you are expecting of us. There were a couple of questions and comments I'll address quickly, and then so that will allow the floor to go back. First of all, there was a question from Azerbaijan about the efforts to include education funding in terms of the priority of intangible culture and heritage in education. As I said earlier, we've been working very closely with field officers, and while I can't say we have received direct funding, say, as a budget transfer, we have definitely had very positive experiences in co-funding. For example, integrated intangible culture heritage into an education sector project in the Harare office. And in the Dakar office also, we have been co-organizing with funding from both sectors, stakeholders meeting, which co-finance, sorry, not only co-organizing. And also we have co-financed a concept paper of ICH and global citizenship education with the education sector. So we are, as I said, getting good efforts. There was another question from Colombia about technical and vocational education. And UNIVOC, we have indeed worked closely. We have a proposal that we've developed quite closely with UNIVOC on this issue, and we are looking for funding for that proposal. So there are progress, and probably more can be made. Djibouti raised the question of capacity building to assist states in developing, in getting nominations to the list. This is something we're very aware of. Our capacity, we have already the capacity building materials. We know how to do this. We need the money to be able to roll it out, if I may say so bluntly. But also some of these issues, I think, will be addressed in item 14 in the reform of the listing mechanisms to look at perhaps at some of those issues. We take note also of Armenia's enthusiasm to work with NGOs. We have a specific dedicated agenda item on that and intend to continue work in that area. Finally, also Netherlands and Guatemala, we take note of the important areas with which you see as important in continuing, and we will continue working in those areas. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. If I've missed a question, I'll come back to it later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Curtis. Now it's the turn, I'll give the floor to Philippines.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We thank the Secretariat for this report. The report shows that the 2003 Convention is undergoing an evolution with growing numbers of state parties and inscriptions on its lists. We now have a substantial body of intangible cultural heritage of humanity from across the globe recognized under the mechanisms of this convention. Hence, the responsibilities and expectations of the committee and the General Assembly are also growing. After serving 4 years in this committee, deeply engaged in the processes and debates, the Philippines believes that the ICH system is now at a crucial stage of its development. We have some initial thoughts we would like to share in a general sense, which we will further elaborate on under subsequent items on our agenda. Number one, we, the stakeholders of the ICH system, states, parties, and communities, the Secretariat and NGOs and experts, need to avoid falling into the World Heritage paradigm in which the lists dominate the discourse. In fact, many people outside this meeting room refer to the representative list as the World Heritage List for Intangible Cultural Heritage. Two, we need more diversified voices and inputs as we reflect on reforms to the system. Let us move away from a top-down approach led by the Secretariat and states parties and try to improve the system catering to the needs of the communities, and the ICH elements themselves. Three, besides the statutory meetings and processing of files and reports, we observe that norm-setting work is becoming ever more important as we see the development of guidelines on ICH in emergencies and ICH in education. Thus, we need to reflect on a more balanced appropriation of resources between these functions. Four, we need to target the youth and the key policymakers in order to raise more awareness of ICH. Specific programs could be formulated in this regard. We also have some questions. Can we have more information on the nature and scope of the extra budgetary project on ICH in the urban context? How were pilot cities selected? What is the budget and expected outputs? Likewise, we would like to have the number of total staff working in this section and how many of these are secondments. Do donor countries set the parameters of work of the staff they second? How do the Secretariat and states parties ensure that actual or potential conflicts of interest are prevented? Are there any mechanisms or safeguards in place through the Ethics Advisor or Office of Internal Oversight? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Philippines. Now it's the turn for Austria.
Thank you. First, please let us take the opportunity to thank the host country for the perfect organization of this meeting and for the warm welcome here in Bogota. The Austrian delegation would like to congratulate the Secretariat for the report and for the excellent documents. We appreciate all the achievements, and considering the high workload, we particularly recognize the dedication and commitment by Tim Curtis and his team. It is a pleasure to see that 178 state parties have committed themselves to safeguarding ICH on their territory, which is nearly universal ratification. A major topic has become safeguarding ICH and sustainable development. During the Forum of Ministers in the recent General Conference, a number of ministers confirmed the importance of issues like climate change, urban development, and health for culture in their countries, including intangible cultural heritage. Clearly, ICH can considerably contribute to the implementation of SDGs, particularly also SDG 4, which is education. We welcome the recent activities on ICH and education, particularly the successful European Young Heritage Professionals Forum in Sada, Croatia, and the recently launched project in Vienna with UNESCO associated schools on engaging youth for an inclusive and sustainable Europe, which brings intangible cultural heritage closer to school communities across the European Union. Likewise, we continue to support the focus on capacity building, and we appreciate the expansion of the facilitators network. It is satisfying to hear about the number of activities and the new training materials provided online. For networking with other actors, we welcome the cooperation with 66 universities. Furthermore, we agree with strengthening the partnership with Category 2 centers, with governments, museums and heritage institutions for regionalizing capacity building. However, we should not forget the potential of our national commissions for reaching our goals here. We are also in favor of exploring new ideas for lighter ways of sharing safeguarding practices. This can particularly help sharing good practices on a local or regional level. I understand we will discuss this later under a different item in the agenda in the context of our reflection on the listing mechanisms of the Convention. A recurrent topic for us in the next years will be the protection of culture and the promotion of cultural pluralism in emergency situations, be it armed conflicts, natural or man-made hazards. We welcome the contribution of our Convention to this important topic for preparedness, resilience and reconciliation. The same applies to ICH in urban context. The pilot project for community-based inventorying in urban areas sounds very interesting to us. As regards the monitoring of the Convention, we are very much looking forward to the new reporting system based on regions aligned with the overall results framework and facilitated by regional workshops, capacity building and peer learning. Finally, please let us congratulate the Secretariat to the new outreach and communication strategy, in particular the project Dive into Intangible Cultural Heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Austria. Maintenant, je vais donner la parole au Sénégal.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous vous félicitons pour votre choix pour diriger ces travaux et nous pouvons vous assurer de toute notre disponibilité pour que cette mission soit réussie. Notre sincère gratitude également au gouvernement de la Colombie qui a réussi cet accueil chaleureux, mais également la parfaite organisation de cette 14e session. Pour revenir sur le rapport du secrétariat, nous voudrions féliciter M. Tim Curtis et toute l'équipe du secrétariat pour ce rapport détaillé et instructif. Vous me permettrez surtout de m'intéresser sur la thématique culture et PCI, PCI du moins et éducation. Parce que j'ai eu le privilège, avec le bureau de Dakar, d'assister à cet atelier sous-régional sur cette thématique et ça a été une expérience exceptionnelle et aujourd'hui tout le monde reconnaît que l'éducation va être un véhicule extrêmement important dans la mise en œuvre de cette convention en aidant à la promotion de ces valeurs que le PCI véhicule. Je voudrais surtout attirer l'attention également sur la faisabilité de ce travail. En ce qui concerne le Sénégal, lors de notre dernier inventaire, nous avons élaboré quelques modules pédagogiques sur des éléments inventoriés et que nous voulons expérimenter avec le ministère de l'Éducation nationale, au moins avec 3 écoles élémentaires. Et c'est avec le bureau de Dakar que tous les contacts ont été établis avec le ministère de l'Éducation nationale et nous sommes certains que d'ici peu, cette expérience pilote sur l'enseignement autour de ces modules, notamment avec le choix des contes, les contes qui sont également des véhicules extrêmement importants du patrimoine culturel immatériel en Afrique, nous allons avoir donc un projet pilote qui pourrait produire des résultats de bonnes pratiques à partager avec les autres membres de cette convention. Je voudrais terminer pour insister aussi sur le renforcement de capacité. C'est un élément essentiel pour la mise en œuvre de la convention. Nous avons également bénéficié d'un appui sur le renforcement de capacité et je puis vous dire qu'aujourd'hui, une expertise nationale assez bien assise travaille dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention en rapport avec des ONG très actives à nos côtés. Et je pense que c'est cela qui explique d'ailleurs la mise en œuvre d'une commission nationale par décret présidentiel, d'une commission nationale pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel, où nous retrouvons tous les acteurs culturels, y compris institutionnels comme ONG. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Sénégal. Now it's time for the intervention of Poland.
Gracias, señora Presidente. Como por la primera vez tengo esta oportunidad y placer de tomar la palabra durante esta sesión, quisiera agradecer y felicitar al gobierno colombiano y a su pueblo por su hospitalidad y tan excelente organización de nuestra sesión. Y a usted quisiera dirigir también palabras directamente para felicitar a usted, señora Presidente. Y ahora going to the presented report, I would like to thank Secretariat for its very rich activity for the benefit of the Convention, and joining many other state parties, I would like to turn your attention to all initiatives undertaken by Secretariat in the field of education, which its key role is in the task of implementation of and promotion of the ideas of intangible cultural heritage among local communities and youth. I would like to underline the role of youth as the most important element to safeguard intangible heritage. We appreciate particularly intersectoral approach in the realization of sustainable development taken from the sustainable development approach. We shouldn't forget about the monitoring methods to be developed. We welcome with satisfaction Secretariat's efforts regarding ICH in emergencies, which is so important in the contemporary world. So, very briefly, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Poland. Now it's time for Kazakhstan. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear Madam Chair, let me join previous speakers in congratulating you on your excellent presidency of our committee and underlining how much we have been enjoying the warm hospitality of the Colombian people and the government. And we wish you, distinguished members of the committee and all the delegates attending in this room, a fruitful work during the 6 days of intensive work ahead of us in spirit of cooperation and consensus so characteristic of UNESCO. Concerning the draft decision 5B, we would like to commend the good work of the Convention Secretariat team, skillfully led by Mr. Tim Curtis, as well as the quality report presented to us. At the request of the experts of Kazakhstan's National ICH Committee, present here, I would like to highlight the latest activities of the UNESCO Secretariat conducted through its Cluster Bureau for Central Asian countries on promoting ICH in our part of the world, which took place after this draft report had been finalized and distributed, namely on November 18 and 20th in the city of Almaty. One concerned a sub-regional meeting on promotion of ICH at technical and vocational education and training in Central Asia, conducted in cooperation with the ICHCAP, a Category 2 UNESCO center based in the Republic of Korea. The priority topic of this meeting was the safeguarding and integration of the ICH into formal and informal education. The main goal was to raise awareness of ICH among the representatives of the TVET system to expand to national, regional, and international networks of TVET institutions and to ensure cooperation and networking among cultural experts. The other event concerned more communication and outreach section of the report, namely the Central Asian Intangible Cultural Heritage Film Festival and photo exhibition were held on the same dates. The event jointly held by the above-mentioned ICHCAP Category 2 Center and the National Committee for Safeguarding the ICH of Kazakhstan. This event presented the video and photo documentations of intangible heritage from the 5 Central Asian states, namely Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Mongolia, that have been cooperating with the ICCAP since 2015 under the project ICH Video Production in the Asia Pacific. We are not sure if the mentioning of these meetings and their importance can be added to the draft decision 5B, namely paragraphs 14 and 18. We have a short text, if that is possible, ready to do, and which we can share with the Secretariat. If that is not possible at this stage, we would be glad if it is reflected in the summary records of our discussion. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Kazakhstan. Ahora quiero darle la palabra a Cuba.
Buenas tardes y muchas gracias, señora presidenta. En primer lugar, la delegación cubana desea agradecer la acogida a los anfitriones de Colombia por su excepcional preparación organizativa y su sincera cordialidad. Ciertamente han hecho honor a la selección como sede del evento. En segundo lugar, resaltar la precisión y exhaustividad del señor Curtis en su presentación, que se sustenta en un sólido informe sobre el tema. Cuba, desde su experiencia de intersectorialidad y su aprendizaje en tanto miembro del CRESPIAL, desea sumarse al llamado colectivo hecho por los delegados que nos han antecedido sobre la importancia de la educación para la salvaguardia, protección y promoción del patrimonio cultural inmaterial. En tal sentido, referimos el valor agregado que supone trabajar con la red del programa de escuelas asociadas, con la red de cátedras UNESCO y la realización de las escuelas MOST, las escuelas del Programa de Gestión de las Transformaciones Sociales. Estos programas permiten trabajar intencionadamente, sistemáticamente y de forma creativa e inclusiva con los jóvenes, que son uno de los ejes prioritarios de la UNESCO, y las comunidades, teniendo un enfoque integrado y ajustado a las necesidades locales y nacionales. Así también resaltar otra de las alternativas que ofrece el escenario UNESCO, tales como las becas UNESCO, en este sentido, las becas que hizo Obuchi en su sector de diálogo, en su temática de diálogo intercultural, que permite la presentación de proyectos mediante los cuales se puede trabajar o se puede devolver luego un know-how enriquecido a los jóvenes y a las comunidades. Finalmente, decirles que la riqueza del mandato múltiple de la UNESCO nos brinda esa enorme oportunidad mediante sus programas, actividades e iniciativas. Aprovecharlo es a la vez un reto y una oportunidad. Muchas gracias, señora presidenta.
Gracias por la intervención, Cuba. Now I'll give the floor to China.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With your kind permission, I will first invite our Vice Minister to give the speech, and then I will give the interpretation.
尊敬的主席女士，中国代表团首先祝贺您当选，感谢哥伦比亚为承办本届常会所做的精心安排和热情的款待。过去1年来，在委员会和秘书处的努力下，国际层面非遗保护工作取得了新的发展。公约倡导的相互尊重、欣赏、平等对话、合作共享的理念进一步深入人心，使非物质文化遗产成为最有活力的概念。对此，中国政府表示高度赞赏。作为委员国，中国政府高度重视能力建设，除继续支持教科文组织亚太中心为亚太地区成员国举办培训班之外，2019年仅中央财政支持的非遗各类国内培训人数达7000余人次。中国积极落实2030年可持续发展议程，实施非遗加扶贫行动，带动扶贫地区群众依靠本地非遗项目脱贫致富。中国还与教科文组织合作，举办了2019年第7届中国成都国际非遗节，推动国家和国际层面的非遗保护经验交流互鉴，开展国际合作。中国愿与其他委员国一道，继续认真履行委员会职责，为推动公约健康可持续发展而不懈努力。预祝本届常会取得圆满成功。
Thank you, Madam Chair. Since it's the first time for the Chinese delegation to take the floor, I would like to, first of all, commend you on your excellent chairmanship and express our sincere gratitude to the host country, the Authority of Colombia, for its excellent organization of this session and its warm hospitality to all the committee members. China would like to express our sincere thanks to the report by the Secretariat. We acknowledge the commitment and efforts of both the committee and the Secretariat in the past year on ratification process, periodical reporting reform, reflection on the listing mechanisms, and stronger international assistance, as well as in ICH through education and capacity building, which contributed greatly to the ICH safeguarding in the global level. We are glad to see the visibility of intangible cultural heritage is further improved, and the ideas of mutual respect, dialogue, which respects the diversity and international cooperation, as stated in the convention, have been more widely promoted. We are also happy to learn from the Secretariat's report that a new team of 3 fixed posts has been established since it was approved by the General Assembly in the year 2018. As a committee member, China attaches great importance to capacity building strategy. We continue to support the CREHAB, a Category 2 center in Beijing, to organize workshops for the states parties in the Asia-Pacific region. We are also happy to learn that one new Category 2 center was approved at the General Conference just in last month. It has been approved in UAE, and we hope that stronger cooperation and interaction between all the Category 2 centers will be further enhanced under the framework of the capacity building strategy. At the national level, China also gives workshops on the ICH training to more than 7,000 people in 2019. And we also work hard to implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, carrying out the ICH plus poverty alleviation action to empower poor people and improve their livelihood through ICH. Moreover, we also organized the 7th China Chengdu International ICH Festival with the patronage of UNESCO for best practice sharing and cooperation in ICH safeguarding at both bilateral and multilateral levels. China is always committed and ready to join hands with other committee members to make the committee fully functional to ensure the health and sustainable development of the convention. Muchas gracias, señora Presidente.
Thank you so much, China. Now, Jamaica, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as it is the first time that we're taking the floor, I would like to express, on behalf of the delegation, our great gratitude, deep gratitude to the Colombian authorities for the warm welcome that we have received, and also to UNESCO for facilitating the participation of the delegation in this meeting. I would like to congratulate the Secretariat, which under less than ideal circumstances has managed to achieve so much during the course of the year. And congratulations in particular to the head of that team and his team for the work accomplished. We would like to express our gratitude also for the support of UNESCO with intangible cultural heritage projects in Jamaica. In the first instance, the workshop in Kingston as part of that pilot project, workshop on intangible cultural heritage and creativity for sustainable cities, which was conducted over the course of several months this year, and work which continues. Also, for the facilitation through assistance from the People's Republic of China for our participation in the workshop in Meishin, China, on Culture 2030, Rural Urban Development, the Future of Historical Villages and Towns. These initiatives have allowed us to continue our work in strengthening and developing capacity, particularly amongst stakeholder communities which are involved in protecting and preserving their own intangible cultural heritage within the context of Jamaica. We thank you for the support.
Thank you very much, Jamaica. Now I want to welcome the intervention of Kuwait.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The State of Kuwait would like to congratulate you for chairing the 14th session of the ICH. We received amazing welcoming spirit from our first arrival to Colombia, a country that is full of intangible heritage, as I witnessed yesterday with my dear ambassador of Djibouti at the exhibition next door, where we saw hundreds of traditional craftsmen displayed in a beautiful way. I would like also to thank the Secretariat for their professional efforts and report. I must say that dialogue is being improved between all stakeholders and non-governmental bodies, yet we need more of it since we're seeing the positive outcome of the dialogue. We encourage to continue the inclusion of the ICH in the urban development. Final point I would like to say, I think the use of technology should be utilized more and more in a capacity building compared to the conventional way we currently being used in this way will reach more people and more stakeholders, especially since open access of science and information is UNESCO priority. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Kuwait. Maintenant, je vais donner la parole au Liban.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Permettez-moi de vous féliciter et de remercier la Colombie pour son hospitalité. Je voudrais également féliciter M. Curtis et son équipe pour le travail qu'ils ont fait durant cette année et un travail dans lequel le Liban a été à plusieurs reprises impliqué. Donc, ce que je voudrais spécifier, c'est que malgré les crises récurrentes que vit mon pays, la mise en œuvre de la Convention est sur la bonne voie. Nous avons eu cette année, nous avons bénéficié du programme de renforcement des capacités régionales, d'un programme de renforcement des capacités nationales financé par le Japon, que je remercie. Et j'aimerais bien aussi partager avec vous l'impact positif qu'a été la mise en œuvre d'un projet pilote portant sur l'éducation et le patrimoine culturel immatériel. Nous avons, à partir de ce programme, intégré le patrimoine immatériel dans les programmes scolaires et nous avons pu mesurer l'impact positif sur l'identité des élèves qui sont en souffrance chez nous, qui sont en mal à la recherche d'une identité et que la crise actuelle de laquelle la crise actuelle peut témoigner. Donc, après l'intégration du patrimoine culturel immatériel dans ces programmes, nous avons relevé et mesuré un passage qualitatif d'un dénigrement de l'identité aussi bien locale que nationale vers une fierté. Et c'est ce que j'ai voulu souligner pour dire combien ce programme est indispensable dans la mise en œuvre de la Convention. Et merci.
Merci, Liban. The floor is Japan's floor.
la délégation du Japon veut joindre tous ses collègues à vous remercier et aussi la Colombie pour avoir organisé cette réunion dans cette très belle cité. Nous voulons aussi féliciter M. Curtis et son équipe pour les efforts menés jusqu'à nos jours pour cette contribution pour les matériaux intangibles et le rapport bien résumé du report 5B. Nous voulons souligner 2 points sur ce sujet 5B. Premièrement, l'importance des renforcements des capacités. Les renforcements de la capacité, surtout sur le patrimoine culturel immatériel dans les situations d'urgence, sera crucial dans le futur et nous espérons que ces efforts vont continuer. Deuxièmement, sur les mécanismes d'inscription sur les listes de la Convention, le Japon supporte par contribution volontaire supplémentaire la réflexion générale sur les mécanismes d'inscription sur les listes de la Convention, qui va commencer avec une réunion préliminaire d'experts en mars 2020. Nous allons discuter ce sujet plus tard sur le sujet 14, mais le Japon va affirmer qu'elle restera très active dans ce sujet. Merci.
Merci, Japon. Je veux maintenant donner la parole au Cameroun.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La délégation camerounaise voudrait remercier la République de Colombie pour l'organisation de cette session et l'accueil réservé aux délégués et toutes les facilités y liées. Nous voulons également féliciter le travail du Secretariat de la Convention pour le rapport des activités et notamment celles entreprises dans le domaine de renforcement de capacité pour la promotion de la Convention de 2003. Et le Cameroun apprécie la collaboration étroite avec le Secrétariat. Nous voulons saisir l'occasion pour informer que, contrairement à ce qui était annoncé, notre ministre n'a pas pu effectuer le déplacement de Bogota pour des raisons indépendantes de sa volonté et des urgences nationales. Il présente ses sincères excuses aux organisateurs et à la session, ainsi qu'aux délégués. Merci.
Merci, le Cameroun. I'll now give the floor to Mauritius.
Thank you, Chairperson, for giving me the floor. As Minister of Arts and Cultural Heritage, I'm leading the Mauritian delegation for this 14.com meeting. In fact, the 13.com meeting was held in Mauritius last year, and we hope that the Mauritian experience has been fruitful for all of you. And what remains landmark during the 13 sessions are the inscriptions of the reggae music of Jamaica and the joint inscription of the traditional Korean wrestling by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the Republic of Korea. These 2 inscriptions have been openly acclaimed in Mauritius. The Mauritian delegation wishes to congratulate the newly appointed chairperson, and I personally wish you all the best in the conducting of these 14th sessions. We also wish to thank the people and the government of Colombia for hosting the 14.com session. So far, it has been a wonderful experience. Lastly, we further congratulate the Secretariat for the report presented on its activities, which translates the enormous work being done by the COM. It has been noted that there has been considerable increase in the adoption and implementation of the ICH 2003 Convention. The Convention emphasizes on the importance of ICH as a springboard of cultural diversity and sustainable development. It also strengthens the invaluable role of intangible cultural heritage on bringing people together to ensure greater understanding, sharing and exchanges in a spirit of cooperation and mutual enrichment. Mauritius, as a member of the committee, has spared no efforts to protect ICH and share our common experiences and values. Finally, so far, Mauritius has successfully inscribed 3 elements on the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity, and this year our first nomination filed for Segatombu Chagos for inscription on the list of intangible cultural heritage in need of urgent safeguarding will be examined, and we look forward for the support of the committee members on this nomination. On behalf of my delegation and the Mauritian government, once again, I wish plenty of success and fruitful deliberation for the 14.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Mauritius. Before I give the floor to observers, I will give the floor to Mr. Curtis. Please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, and once again, I'd like to thank all those committee members who have intervened and given us encouraging remarks. I will start, I will try to address some questions and issues addressed as they came up, and I will start with the questions of the Philippines. We take good note of the 4 priorities, which indeed we will believe are largely reflected in the structures we are currently working on, and we hope to keep going in that direction. I also noticed the questions, there were questions about budgeting and particularly of the extra budgetary project and how we chose those cities. The extra budgetary project is reported under the financial reporting anyway of UNESCO. I don't have the exact figures with me here. It is part of a larger project that touches other entities within the culture sector. So we are managing one part of that project. We chose the cities in close consultation with the countries themselves and with the field officers concerned. We've done 3 of what is meant to be over 3-year periods, 9 cities. And in that sense, I think we were free in the choice of our cities, particularly for that, at least I can speak for that part of the project. We do also we do also have secondments, and they are reported as Singapore and China during the year. And we have followed all the HR procedures for those secondments. So I think the broader questions on oversight of secondment processes probably belongs more in the Executive Board and General Conference of UNESCO than in this committee, because when we do that, we do follow whatever the rules are as they are. And we do need and appreciate those secondments to help us in implementing our work. I think that covers the questions from the Philippines, maybe not. Austria, we also take note of the importance of ICH emergencies and urban contexts, and appreciate the collaboration we had on intangible heritage and education, particularly with the ASP.NET and in Europe. We also, for Senegal, also we take note, and we have a very good experience. In fact, what our office in Dakar is doing currently on ICH and education in Senegal is very promising, and it's exactly where we hope to be going, and we hope that this model will be replicated elsewhere, because what we are seeing is a real buy-in by the Ministry of Education, and it is through that approach that we hope to have multiplier effects. For Poland also, we thank you for the comments and also take note of the importance on education and culture, and hope we can keep moving in that direction. Kazakhstan, we noted all the work. I think for the draft amendment, I'm not sure, because it depends if it's out of the reporting period and if it's done by the Secretariat, these activities. If they are not, then we will not be able to include them in the draft amendment, because it's strictly to the reporting period, which is June 2018, in which case it would come in the next reporting period, but certainly noted in the summary records. We also took note of the comments from Cuba, and in particular, we've also, as was mentioned, been working with our office in Havana on with the ASNet. We haven't really thought about the MOST network, but why not? That could possibly happen. And we feel that there's been interesting advancements in Cuba, and also with the office working more regionally, particularly with our Santiago office on regional approaches on ICH and education. And China also, we note the comments, and would particularly like to thank the really strong efforts that the Category 2 Center in China, CREHAP, who have been very important partners for us in the Asia-Pacific region and have undertaken a significant amount of capacity building work, and really have contributed greatly to capacity building in the region. Jamaica, I'd like to thank as well for the comments, and we're very happy with the progress, and Jamaica is leading some of the way, not only with the inscription of reggae music, as was mentioned earlier, but with the development of inventory in urban context, which we hope will become also a kind of pilot activity which we can replicate elsewhere. The delegate of Kuwait raised some very important issues, the ICH in cities, which we're starting to work on. We haven't developed in the statutory sense, but we're doing the background work to understand that, as I just mentioned for Jamaica, and also the use of new technologies. One of the things we were hoping to do this and be finished by now, but we haven't, was develop a massive online MOOC course. We're in contacts with a number of universities, and we hope to develop a MOOC, what they call a massive online course, so that the capacity building program can then be used in a much broader range. We've started that work, we just haven't completed it yet. So we are aware of those issues and wish to continue on them. And finally, not finally, also Lebanon, the comments from Lebanon. Indeed, we thank the delegation for those comments. We've had very interesting and intense work in Lebanon, which, as the delegation mentioned, is going through difficult times, and perhaps what we've seen there is, in fact, the merging of new themes. So it's ICH in education in emergencies, which is really pushing boundaries and important boundaries, as was mentioned by the delegate. So we thank her for her comments. We also take note of Japan's interest in the area of capacity building and particularly in the areas of emergencies, and look forward to the discussion under item 13, as well as, of course, Japan's important contribution under item 14 for the reflection on the listing mechanisms, and we welcome the debates. We'll be listening very closely under those items. Cameroon, we thank you for your intervention, and of course Mauritius, we all have very warm memories of last year in Mauritius for the 13 COM, and are very happy to see you back here and to continue working with you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. If I've missed any questions, please, I'm happy to try and answer them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Curtis, for your answers, comments, and remarks. Now, I want to give the floor to Czech Republic.
Muchas gracias, señora Presidente. Je voudrais tout d'abord remercier votre pays pour sa chaleureuse hospitalité à l'odeur de l'excellent café de Colombie qui flotte dans l'air depuis notre arrivée. Notre délégation voudrait joindre les membres du comité et remercier et féliciter le Secretariat pour son rapport de qualité riche en informations et qui résume l'impressionnante quantité d'activités, de progrès récents et de projets entrepris depuis le début de l'année 2018. Nous apprécions son engagement compte tenu de la charge élevée de travail et des ressources limitées. La Convention n'arrête pas d'évaluer depuis son adoption en 2003, ce qui se reflète entre autres dans les ajustements nécessaires. En conséquence, il y a des sujets qui nécessitent un travail plus poussé, comme par exemple la réforme du mécanisme de soumission des rapports périodiques, s'alignant sur le cadre global des résultats. Nous voudrions saisir cette opportunité et souhaiter bon courage aux pays concernés du premier cycle et au secrétariat face à ce défi. Notre délégation salue également l'accent mis sur la réflexion sur les mécanismes d'inscription sur les listes de la Convention que nous aurons l'occasion de débattre et les meilleurs moyens de sauvegarde, mais aussi sur questions telles l'éducation formelle et non formelle et sur les enjeux concernant le patrimoine culturel immatériel dans les contextes urbains et dans les situations d'urgence. Ces questions doivent être envisagées tant du point de vue de la sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel que de la prise en conscience par les communautés des justes valeurs du PCI. Finalement, nous voudrions remercier tous les pays qui ont contribué financièrement ou par d'autres moyens aux différentes activités de la mise en œuvre de notre Convention. Merci de nous avoir donné la parole, Madame la Présidente.
Je vous remercie. Maintenant, c'est le tour de la Suède.
Muchas gracias, señora Presidente. Tack så mycket, fru ordförande. Thanks to our Colombian hosts for your hospitality and for organizing this meeting in a great manner. Sweden would like to thank the Secretariat for this elaborate and well-presented report. and for the results achieved. The Secretariat's activities are a cornerstone for the implementation of the Convention on national as well as international level. And therefore, it's important that the Secretariat has the resources needed to continue and develop their work. Apart from the regular budget, voluntary resources are needed in order to strengthen the implementation of the Convention. Sweden has this year been able to contribute with voluntary funding to enhance the human capacity of the Secretariat, and we encourage other states parties that have the ability to support the ICH Convention with voluntary funding. To safeguard the intangible cultural heritage for coming generations, we must work together. Especially, we need to promote and strengthen the participation and engagement of the overall engine for this work, the practitioners and the civil society. Because without them, there can be no intangible cultural heritage. Therefore, Sweden is happy for the constructive dialogue that has already started, and we are committed to contribute to the further work on how NGOs can be more actively involved in the work related to the Convention. Another important aspect is the exchange of experience between countries on methods for safeguarding intangible cultural heritage. That's why we have contributed to the Register of Good Safeguarding Practices last year, hoping that more countries will do the same, so that we can increase the rich knowledge that exists in all parts of the world. The report by the Secretariat shows of steps in the right direction. Finally, Sweden remains committed to working closely with the Secretariat and all state parties in order to strengthen the implementation of the Convention. Thank you.
Thank you, Sweden. Now I'll come back to a committee member. Togo, the floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Comme je prends pour la première fois la parole, je profite de l'occasion pour féliciter le pays qui nous accueille de l'agréable et l'amabilité de nous recevoir ici. Et le Togo profite aussi pour remercier le secrétariat pour toutes ses activités. Nous profitons aussi de l'occasion pour remercier l'UNESCO pour le soutien dans la réalisation de certaines activités sur le PCI, surtout sur la facture des instruments de musique, qui est à la deuxième phase, et pour le soutien qu'il nous a apporté à travers le bureau hors siège pour la sensibilisation et les pratiques sur la mise en œuvre du PCI que le Togo a pu bénéficier pour sensibiliser les populations. Je vous remercie pour l'opportunité qui nous est offerte pour participer à ces assises qui nous sont vraiment très chères. Merci.
Merci, Togo. Maintenant, je vais donner la parole à Mauritania.
Muchas gracias, señora Presidente. Parce que je prends la parole pour la première fois, j'exprime mes remerciements envers les autorités colombiennes pour les généreuses facilités qu'ils ont mises à notre disposition. Le secrétariat mérite de notre part tous les remerciements et les félicitations pour l'accompagnement qu'il a mis à notre disposition. La Mauritanie, en fait, elle a des comptes à rendre au secrétariat à l'UNESCO par rapport à ce généreux effort soutien de l'UNESCO. Notre pays a mis en place un système national de trésorerie vivant. Nous avons maintenant plusieurs ONG accréditées, sérieuses et accréditées auprès de l'UNESCO. Et nous avons plusieurs experts qui travaillent auprès de l'UNESCO partout dans le monde. Nous avons élaboré et mis en place un programme national de renforcement des capacités dans le domaine du PCI et des capacités nationales. Et nous sommes en train de lancer un programme de renforcement des capacités des ONG actives dans le domaine du patrimoine immatériel. Mieux encore, le ministère de la Culture a maintenant rentré dans le vif du sujet, c'est-à-dire l'inventaire, la gestion et la promotion du patrimoine immatériel, et le rendre au service de la cohésion sociale et l'entente des communautés. La Mauritanie développe actuellement un programme intelligent visant la valorisation du patrimoine des valeurs, les valeurs avantageuses, transmises de génération en génération, et les rendre perceptibles par les nouvelles générations en termes d'entente et de recherche de paix sociale et de lutte contre toutes les mauvaises pratiques, en particulier la corruption, la gabegie et le terrorisme. Nous invitons les pays du monde à travers l'UNESCO de venir travailler avec nous ce programme. En tout cas, les outils de mise en œuvre de ce programme sont déjà élaborés en français, en arabe et en anglais. Je ne saurais terminer cette intervention sans remercier vivement le bureau de l'UNESCO de Rabat, c'est notre soutien de proximité, mais aussi les pays qui, à travers l'UNESCO, ont bien voulu soutenir financièrement l'activité dans le domaine du patrimoine immatériel en Mauritanie. Je remercie particulièrement, au nom de mon pays, le Norvège, et aussi nos amis du Royaume d'Espagne. Dans les traditions arabes, on dit « Man la yashkurullah, nas la yashkurullah », c'est-à-dire celui qui ne remercie pas les gens, en fait, ne remercie pas Dieu. Je vous remercie.
Merci, Mauritanie. Nous avons avec à la fin le pays qui veut intervenir, c'est Finlande. On n'a que 4 minutes avant la fin de la première session. Alors, je vous donne la parole.
Thank you. Since this is the first time Finland takes the floor, I'd like to warmly thank the host country for welcoming us to Bogota. I would like to thank the Secretariat for the excellent work they have done under the convention, and especially the NGO ICH Forum as well. I would like to highlight the issue of sustainable development, which is crucial to all of our work, and I would like to encourage all the state parties to share their ideas on what sustainable development means in our common work. At the same time, I would like to use this opportunity to tell about the concrete tool we have developed in Finland, namely the wheel chart of sustainable development and ICH. It is free and accessible for all, and I hope we could continue the discussions on what we all in our organizations, institutions, NGOs can do more for sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you, Finland. So, as we're close to midnight, to noon, please midnight, I hope we're not. So we have lunch break between 12:30 and 2:30 p.m. The members of the committee, up to 3 persons per delegation, are invited by the host country for lunch on the 4th floor of the conference center. Other participants may lunch in the restaurant on the same floor or find other restaurants outside the conference center. Before you leave the room, I would like to give the floor to Secretary for a few practical announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I remind you to please keep your badges on you at all times so as to allow for proper identification and access to the venue and other facilities. Participants who have received financial assistance, I also would like to please remind you that if you have not yet signed at the participation's registration area at the reception desk, to do so during lunch hours. We need those signatures for everyone who has been able to travel through the Intangible Cultural Heritage Fund. For those states who wish to hold performances and or present audio-visual material after the examination of their nomination files, please inform the Secretariat as soon as possible and provide us with the relevant electronic files as necessary in order to facilitate our preparation. And we also please remind you that such material or performances should not exceed 2 minutes. Apart from the official agenda of the meeting, there are various events taking place today and throughout the session. I would, of course, like to start by reminding you that the official opening ceremony will take place this evening at 7 p.m. at the auditorium of Corferias. The Colombian government is also hosting a welcoming reception in the lobby of the 3rd floor prior to the opening, and other events held today here include a seminar presentation of the new book, Traditional Food, Sharing of Experiences from the Field, and food tasting at 1 p.m. in room H1 on the 4th floor. The exhibition Companions for Safeguarding ICH, Category 2 Centers in Asia and the Pacific in the lobby of the 4th floor. The exhibition Weaving Bridges for ICH Safeguarding, Crespial, in the lobby on the 5th floor. And the second International Photo Exhibition, Intangible Cultural Heritage and Youth, organized by the Tehran's Category 2 Center on the 3rd floor. For more complete information on side events, I encourage you to look at the UNESCO webpage dedicated to the 14th session of the committee and its calendar of events. The TV screens just outside of the plenary room will be also displaying the different events. This conference room will remain open during lunchtime, so please do not leave your personal belongings. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.